Does the government have no alternative to increase their revenue purely beyond increasing taxes? Why don't they go to the top corporates or even try to recover outstanding taxes that have been evaded?
When they talk about reforms, what they mean is passing the burden on to the end user, the consumer, the people.
Yes, exactly.
That's generally what they mean by burden sharing. The president talks about, the people bearing challenges. Now, what one would have expected, something that's all the data, this is not me saying it,
yes.
All the data shows that Sri Lanka is one of the countries with the lowest tax bases. We have the least number of people paying tax. We have something like 1.2 to 1.4 million motor cars, but only a few 100,000 tax files.
Right.
So this is part of this TIN business that's coming up. But one of the main issues Sri Lanka has is that we have a very regressive tax structure.
regime,
so
yes.
some 80% of all our taxes are from indirect taxes, and this is probably going to make it worse because we're just using more indirect taxes to raise revenue.
Yes. Yes.
What we should have done, what this budget should have done, is invested made historic investments in the Indian Revenue Service so that they can start going after people that evade taxes. It's not as difficult as people make it sound, but it does require some funds and it requires some focus.
Yes.
And now you mentioned the money that's been stolen, and let's take a look at the sugar scam. There was about 10 billion lost there. That's a crime, but no criminals, right? So then there's taxes that have been collected from casinos.
Yes.
There are taxes that have been collected from alcohol manufacturers. And these are big amounts. These are not small pies, 10, 20 million. These are hundreds of millions, numbering the billions. So at what point do we start seeing some equity in this process? We're not saying don't tax the people, but we're saying let's make the structure fairer. Why not? Because it makes us feel nice, but it's better for the economy as a whole. Because what's happening is, as you get more and more well concentrated at the top,
yes,
the whole economy struggles. Because what do people do if you give a corporate a tax cut? Generally, what's happened throughout the world, not just in Sri Lanka. Again, this is not me saying it. All that happens is you get higher dividends, you get share buybacks. You get very little in the terms of capital expenditure.
Yes.
Very little investment into the training of employees
and so on.
The bonuses don't go up except for the CEOs and the very high
C-suite management. Yes,
exactly. So in this kind of a context, in this kind of an economy, the people have the right to expect more. And you talk about alternatives. There have always been alternatives, but it's very difficult to sort of look out for alternatives when it's the same people in power. And that's